I thought you were doing that. That's like the new chime. Okay, good morning, everyone. I want to start by saying that I pushed the button on the email send last night and it didn't go. So probably people are now seeing the live ping. What's that? Yeah, I didn't get a message. Usually Becky will message me and say, hey, are you going to send out an email? And if Becky misses it, Coral's usually like, hey, where's your 1 million cups email? So, I clicked the button and then I went to sleep and I thought that it went out and it didn't. So people probably will trickle in. They'll see the live and they'll be like, oh, yeah, they're there today. And they're coming. But we are here right now. What is that, like her chime? Yeah, we're just getting extra alerts. We do have 2 presenters today, so I'm going to keep on schedule and let my brain do what it's supposed to do in the morning after I have coffee. I needed that very much. My name is Samantha Sargent. I am your MC today. Paul, will you be the timekeeper for me, please? Perfect. So Paul's the timekeeper. If you're an organizer, can you raise your hand? We're going to do that right away in the morning. So there's 3 of us in the room at the moment. So if you ever need help saying, hey, I'd like to present, hey, I'd like to learn more about 1 million cups, or I don't get it, or anything like that, the organizers were specifically here for you. And then we also have some caffeinators and alumni in the room. So I see Robert today as a alumni. He knows everything there is to know about 1 million cups too. So you could ask him first, right, Robert? So yes, 1 Million Cups is an entrepreneur support group. We have about 160 groups that meet nationwide every Wednesday at 9 a.m. And the hope is that we have 1 million entrepreneurs sitting down to a free cup of coffee, listening to another entrepreneur share their journey. So our goal as organizers is to help entrepreneurs in their first 0 to 5 years get on stage here and share their journey, who they are, what they do, what led them to doing what they're doing, so we can know, like, and trust them, potentially refer to them, or even become clients of theirs. And then after that, the support comes from us as an entrepreneur in the audience. So we'll get started by thanking all of our sponsors, and usually at the end, as the MC, we get to say a little piece. I'm going to say my piece in the beginning, but as the MC, I also get a little bit of time to share with you who I am. So again, my name is Samantha Sargent. I'm a doTERRA wellness advocate, so my main job is helping people learn about essential oils and use them to enhance their health and wellness. And I'm also an event coordinator, so I do a lot of contracting. You'll kind of see me all over town at different events, both in doTERRA and as a coordinator helping other people. Let's see, so in my life in particular, over the last couple of weeks actually, the word hero has been very dominant. Every year, my son's school has dress up as your favorite hero day. So today I had my mom moment where I'm really frustrated because he wants to dress up as the Hulk, or he wants to dress up as something else. But actually, the hero day at school is like, firefighters or a police officer. And we didn't meet last week because of Thanksgiving. So that's 2 full weeks that we haven't seen each other in this space. And a lot has happened in our community. So the word hero, again, has come up. When tragedy strikes, there's always a silver lining. And so we know many heroes. I did mention it in the email last week. Rich of Atrevida, him and his wife have presented multiple times at 1 Million Cups. So we hope to have them back every year. As a presenter, you get to come back every year, every 12 months, to do an update. So today, both of our presenters are first-time presenters, so they have the standard presentation. But when someone does an update presentation, they basically tell us what's happened in the last year for them, which sometimes will include their entrepreneurial journey too, but they get to do some different things that our first-time presenters shouldn't be doing in their presentation. So anyways, I'm really trying to encourage my son. For me, I tell my husband every day he's my hero. He does things for me that most people wouldn't think are heroic, but literally, there's some days that I wouldn't probably eat because I love to work so much. I'm just working, and he puts food in front of me and I eat. That is so valuable to me. So now you guys are all like staring at me. It's making me tear up. But I hope that I hope that you guys will let the heroes in your life know how important they are to you. And even for me today, sorry. for me, our sponsors are our heroes every day. So one of the things that I find heroic is when someone continues to be on their path, even when maybe everyone, well, not everyone, but a large portion of people will exit or do something really harsh to them. And when they continue on their path, it's very inspiring and heroic for themselves, which is just as important as being a hero for somebody else. So now I get to spotlight a hero in the room. Kirsti, she's our coffee sponsor, so you can ask her more later, or maybe she'll use her 30 seconds to share something if she wants. But to me, Kirsti's a hero, so I haven't talked to you in a couple weeks, but you're amazing.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that at all, but yeah, so it has been a whirlwind being a part of this organization, and I love this family. I'm Kirsti with the Sleepy Turtle Coffee Co. It's a mobile coffee shop here in the Springs, and a lot of change has happened in the past couple of weeks. And because of certain contracts that I have, I no longer have other partnerships. So certain partnerships have just completely dissolved. And they are just things that happen. And I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to stay my path and do the things that I need to do. But yeah, thank you for putting me on the spot. But yeah, it's been super hard, and just being a part of this group and being able to learn how to pivot as an entrepreneur, it is not easy, especially when you think that your community is behind you, and they're not sometimes. So being able to see that, and then being able to come back from that, and standing firm in who you are and who you were made to be as an entrepreneur, and why you're here. I mean, we all started our own businesses for a reason. So of course, like, why are we here? Why are we making a difference in our community? And just getting back to like your why, your why of why you're here. And I think that's why 1 Million Cups is so important, because it is that, like, that entrepreneurship support group. And we can stand by each other during the good, during the bad, during the hard, and knowing that when opposition happens, when you have to pivot as a business owner, you're going to have people around you who are going to support you, and going to stand with you. So I just really like coffee and people, so that's who I am. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. So 1 Million Cups is for the people, by the people. We're all volunteers. Nobody RSVPs to come. We just come. And if you don't come because someone else is going to be here, then that's on you. And then you're not meant to be here. So we're glad you didn't come. Let's see. So yeah, sorry, we'll probably go a tad over today. I really love that we're 9 to 10, but sometimes we need that extra sliver. Between presentations, we always do community announcements. So if you have something that benefits the entrepreneurial community, or something that is available for entrepreneurs, then that will be the time. So get those prepared if you have any, or if you want to share with us who a hero that you have is here in our community, let us know. Our coffee sponsor, so actually someone does pay for the coffee. So this month, I know Becky's here on behalf of the Colorado Enterprise Fund, so they get 30 seconds to say whatever they want. So welcome, Becky.
Thank you. You're welcome. Good morning. Well, I didn't expect you to bring me to tears first thing. A little rough. I've got my heated vest on, courtesy of Mr. Fuller, who I also love my husband very much, just like you do. And I really think it's neat about Rich. Like, that's a big deal. So anyway, I think all of you are my heroes for being entrepreneurs, because I know how hard it is. And this is a group where, this is a room full of cheerleaders for you. And so you can come here and know that you're going to be with nice people. They're going to be nice to each other, and we all want to see you win. So I want to be part of that. Thanks.
The SBDC and the BBB pay for our cups. A lot of us bring our own cups, which you're welcome to do. Fill up with Kirsti's coffee, but they provide the paper cups. So you'll see their logos on both sides. Thank them whenever you see them. Let them know that you're a 1 Million Cups follower. Or actually, Matt is here today. I see you now. So they're going to come up for a second, and then I will introduce our first presenter.
Morning, everyone. I'll just barrel off that statement. It's an honor to be here this morning. I appreciate all of you guys, and we at the BBB are here to serve you, the businesses, as a community. So if you have questions, just give us a call. Let us know what we can do for you. Thanks.
I just looked at the note and silenced my phone. So if you could silence your phone, that really helps the presenters. Check in on the app. So we did just recently get a whole new system. I'm sorry, there's no app anymore. It's just on your browser, 1millioncups.com/Colorado Springs. There is a scan code on the back table. So every time you come in, you can just scan that code. It'll take you right there. And then you can check in. And apparently over the next few months, we're going to get extra swag. We are funded by the Kauffman Foundation. So they're the ones that send us our mugs for our presenters, our mugs for our organizers, T-shirts, stickers, the banners. Those all have a hard cost that they take care of. So apparently we're going to have some extra swag that we'll be able to give out. So, right, as you check in, eventually you're sent like codes that say, hey, go get some free stuff. Or see your organizer for some free stuff, which I don't have yet. So if you got that, Brittany got one, and I'm like, I don't have anything for you. I'm so sorry. You've gotten 4 of those. So I keep asking, hey, what does this mean? And they haven't answered me yet, but they will. So some extra swag for you guys is coming. So now, again, I'd like to introduce our first presenter. So Andy Dills is the owner of Samybot USA, and he's going to share with us about his entrepreneurial journey this morning. And you can take this off if you want. You don't have to.
Okay. Be like a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, walk around, do what you want.
I appreciate it. Again, a big shout out and thank you for this community. And I'm honored to be part of it. Thank you for letting me come speak. It is a safe place. I mean, I've been coming here for several weeks, and then actually several months, and then a few years ago when we first started another business that we've closed. And so it's a very safe community, and it's a great place to rub shoulders, learn from each other, get better, and make a bigger impact in our community. And really that's the theme that I want to kind of share with you guys today, is that impact to the community and what my passions are. I threw some pictures up there about me and what am I about. I jumped into business in a way as an early child, milking cows every morning and every evening for my dad. My dad taught me a lot of work ethics and a lot of integrity and service before self and excellence in everything I do, which the Air Force adopted that model, by the way, from my childhood. But anyway, I'll let them take it. But anyway, I careered in the Air Force there. But anyway, I grew up on the farm, hotel business, restaurant business, warehouse business. Kind of a lot of different things. We were an entrepreneur family, and that's the way I grew up. But in about 7th grade, I came out and visited the Air Force Academy and fell in love with it and said, I think I'll do that. And so 24 years after graduating the academy, I decided to retire in 2017. In the Air Force, I was a scientist, physicist, background's physics and computational physics. And so worked a lot of hard problems. And worked with really great high-tech teams, and really liked thinking out of the box. I'm not strictly a rule follower, even though I was in the military, right? I like thinking out of the box. I like being creative. And I don't know, maybe that's part of the bent about the entrepreneur way I grew up, is like, let's just figure out how to make it happen. Let's figure out how to do it. And that's what I grew up doing. And so when I retired in 2017, I really wanted to just go into business for myself. And it's like, what I want to do? I want to be a data scientist. I want to be a consultant. I want to do that. My wife said, no, you go get a job. And so I went and got a job because she likes the stability. She's a school teacher. She loves that stability. But we shortly there joined a gym. And a gym called Burn Boot Camp here in Colorado Springs, and fell in love with it and the community and the impact it was making, the philosophy of that franchise. And my wife said, I could see us owning one of those. And I said, okay, let's do it. And then, and 6 months later, we owned it, right? Because I was like, I want to get into the business. And we had no idea what we're doing. Absolutely no idea. I've never owned a gym. I barely stepped into a gym except that, right? And so from operations to staffing to marketing to the whole gamut of hiring and firing and all that stuff. It was like all new to me because I was used to doing like real estate flipping and working on the farm and doing that kind of stuff. So a whole new area. And so I learned a lot. And, I counseled with my dad and other business owners who had employees and all that kind of stuff. So that helped. But we learned from the get-go that to buy better than the way we did because we bought it in a hole and it stayed in a hole and COVID hit and it went in the hole more. And but we doubled our membership over the last year and still the COVID debt was just way too much. And the accountant and the lawyer said, you just got to call it quits on that one. And I was like, but it's growing. And it's like, okay. We'll call it quits. So we closed that in this summer. And it was sad because it was a great community of really empowered women. And it was hard. I mean, we were sitting around crying with members and staff and everything like that. It was just, our heart was broken. But it says, hey, a chapter closed, another one opens up, right? And fortunately, I was friends with another couple who are my co-founders of Samybot. And they were here in town for many years, and they moved back to France. And we've launched it, and we do a trial and error kind of thing the way we launch it. So we've been launching it in France. They actually may be online now watching. So hi, Mike and Lou. Hi. But anyway, so we launched it because we both, all of the three of us, had a passion to helping small businesses get better at what they're doing. All right, help them make better strategic decisions and give them the tools so they can compete against the large businesses. All right, these large businesses, yeah, they can drop 50 grand or 100 grand to build apps and websites and SEO and all that kind of stuff. And so my partners do that, but we automated a lot of that and made it very affordable. But really the heart of it and the passion is we'd like to sit down, grassroots, learn your business. Learn what it is, what makes you click, what help you make a better strategic decision, and then follow up that with what are the tools necessary to do that. It may not be our tools, maybe some other tools that you have, but our passion is to help you succeed. And I think this whole community is about that, is helping each other succeed and learning from each other and lessons learned. A great scripture is iron sharpening iron. What we're doing is we're sharpening each other's irons as we rub shoulders with each other. I just totally got off my script, so I'm going to see where I'm at. I got 20 seconds. So bottom line is community impact. Let's do it together. And I think that's the biggest thing. The tools and the capabilities and strategic thinking that we provide just go alongside you. And some of you are great strategic thinkers as well, and you're teaming up. And this is the biggest thing in this community is team up and get some good mentors and get the right tools and keep asking. If you don't get the answer, keep asking until you get the answer you need to help you succeed. And so I'll jump off the stage. How many more seconds do I got?
You got 20 minutes.
All right, I'm done. All right, thank you.
All right, you got 20 minutes.
I guess I could show you what pictures I have up there.
Okay, Becky's going to ask a question.
Can you tell us about the pictures up there?
Oh, Becky, thank you for asking that. So I'll just kind of stand over here so I can point to it and follow the camera. So this is me. If you didn't notice, that was me milking a cow. Going through basic training at the Air Force Academy. One of my roommates, he sent me this picture. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And that's my dad. He commissioned me. He was actually had a commissioning authority because even though he was a senior enlisted, but from his community, his other services, he was able to commission me. A lot of family pictures, mom and dad, brother, all my family. I have 4 kids and myself. My wife have 3 kids, so we have 7 total. I love being outdoors. This was up in Bob Marshall Wilderness this summer. We were out there camping, motorcycling, golfing, the whole works. And then on the top right, that's some of our staff there at Burn Boot Camp. So great friends there. And then it's Mike and Lou here with Samybot that I'm co-founders with. That's the picture. So thank you for asking.
I'm going to say a comment first because actually I didn't make that connection. My daughter was a student of Mrs. Dills.
Oh.
So your wife. I did not know that that was your wife and that
Yeah.
you were the Burn Boot Camp. I didn't realize that. So
Yeah, she came and she talked about 4 years ago when we first
Yeah.
started.
I was going to say you guys should come do an update, which
I just gave you one.
Technically, she could, yeah. But yeah, I have something about that later. But can you go ahead and tell us exactly what is Samybot?
Yeah, Samybot it's really about strategic coaching. Is what it is, and so we provide the tools behind that too. So as we sit down with you and learn your business and about whether you're a restaurant business or a limo driver or coffee maker, a barista, whatever, each of your pizza maker there. What is it you're doing and what strategic thinking are you doing? So we want to help you with that. We stay on top of a lot of books and thinking about that. Then it's like, okay, for us to help you, we need to do three things. What used to be called location, 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 right? Well, what's location, location, location? Well, one location is maximum visibility. All right, how do we get visibility into your business? Okay, the second one is how do we convert those people that see your business into your customers? All right, so we'll maximize that conversion. And the third thing is how do we keep them coming back? And that's maximizing the retention. So we focus on those big three areas, both on strategy as well as the tactics to do that. And so the tools that we have available, we have a team of designers, we have a team of software engineers, okay? And what we do is we've automated the small business side of everything so that instead of you spending 6 months in design engineers to develop that app for your business and $50,000 that you didn't have, all right, the SBA would have gladly loan you that money, I guess. What we do, we automated many of those features, okay? And I can speak that from Burn Boot Camp too, because we had franchise apps and stuff like that, and they spent a lot of money doing that kind of stuff. And so automated those things, get them into your hands, teach you how to use them, then follow up with you, go back into your restaurant and say, okay, now do a barcode, get your customers to scan it, helping you get those people to actually use the app, and then how do you get that information out? So like, hey, I got to sell tonight on this, come by tonight, and they get it, they get a notification. So those apps make them very affordable, $5,000 or less kind of thing. The SEO part and the websites, they all work together, and so it depends on what you need. So coaching and the tools to do it.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the tools? Or is there something like proprietary that you guys have that other strategic coaches don't have?
Let me think about the answer there. Yes, and possibly. Okay, and that's where I like Mike. You want to speak? Mike and Lou are the back. He's our CTO. He's the one that knows all the technology behind that. But basically, the unique part of our tools is you can get the major features that you need to be successful. All right, at a much lower cost, and it's professionally designed. And instead of us figuring out, as individuals, we may not be web designers, app designers, that kind of stuff. We want to brew coffee. We want to make pizzas, that kind of stuff. So we need some people that, software developers that know what they're doing, So we've teamed up with those capabilities and to make it very affordable. What's proprietary, kind of say, is probably I would say is what's our uniqueness. All right, you can hire somebody from Pakistan or India or from Los Angeles to make your app or your website. But are they going to come by your restaurant and sit down with you and talk to you about that strategy? Are they going to sit down and say, okay, what are we doing today with that? This is how we're going to tailor. Okay, that didn't work this month. Let's try this part. Okay, let's focus here. And we're going to come back in there because we really believe that our coaches need to be, and our kids need to be going to the same schools your kids are. And in your community where you are, and we can make a bigger impact that way. And I think that's our unique twist there. And eventually we'll have sales teams across the country. We can do it across the world, but we want to focus on communities and grow it from there. Does that help answer that? Yeah. Okay, Brittany.
What's the story behind Samybot? Where did that come from? The name of it.
Oh, the name of it. I can't really, you know, I never really asked that question of Mike and Lou because it was their original idea. All right, we formed our LLC, or actually our C Corp, under a slightly different name, just it keeps it separate, and doing DBA as Samybot USA. So it's like I really can't guess. I really don't want to give you the wrong answer, but let me get back with you on that. I'll ask that question and I'll get it back to you. I can only guess, and I'll botch it up. Okay.
And as organizers, we do encourage our presenters to go back onto Facebook or to YouTube and watch their presentations. And that's where you can put different links, or as a presenter myself, I've gone on there and say, what I actually meant when I said that was this, or what I should have added to that is this. So luckily we have the technology that you can go and type that in and clarify. So if anyone's really curious, hopefully in the next week or so, or maybe his partner's online right now typing those things in.
They might be typing it in right now.
So yeah, the inquiring minds. And if anyone has a question, just raise your hand and I'll come over with the mic.
Now, you've said that you want the developers and coaches to be local to the people you're serving.
The coaches.
Okay. So that means you have an expansion plan to move outside the Colorado Springs area. Briefly describe what that looks like, and you're looking to do this over 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, it will probably take about 5 years to grow. I mean, you got basically a snowball exponential effect here once you get ball rolling. So let me give you an example. I am the Colorado Springs person, okay? Mike and Lou have moved to France, and they initiated it about 6 months before us starting it here, kind of launching, getting the word out here. And so what we've done there is we just finished a training program with a small group of coaches, there, that's the word I want to say, to train them on what it takes to coach small businesses, what are the tools necessary, and what is the mental attitude, because, a lot of times it sells too, and we want to realize there's a difference between sales and being authentic in your coaching too, because we're not just selling our products, we're selling strategy, okay, and that there's actually no cost to that. It's just you're strategizing with you. So we just finished the first training program there with some locals there in Saverne, France. And so we wanted to learn there and see, okay, what parts of that would work for the United States, because there's a different culture. And so the idea is once we launch, then we want to have these coaches that will come alongside us. We'll go through the training, and then we'll coach them as they have their first coaching sessions with businesses and stuff like that, and helping them map the strategies with the products that it makes sense at that time. One thing is our coaches are not employees, okay? They're going to be independent contractors, okay? We pay them very, very well compared to the industry. Industry typically pays, let's say, for instance, we sell an app for $5,000. They might get a $400 commission off of it in the industry. We give them half. So every app they make $2,500. Okay, that's and then there's the websites have their own things and all that kind of stuff. Why? Because we want them to be motivated to come back to you as a business owner and stay with you, and teach you and grow with you and all that, and to tailor that app with you and all that, and give you the tools. We don't want them to just say, "Hey, good luck, you got my app," and run on and go on to the next person. We want them to stay, so they don't need to make 50 sales a month. They can make a couple sales a month, and they can grow their business and marketing business at that point. Okay, does that help? Okay.
I was wondering, you said a lot about automating different things as a tactic, and I'm wondering, I guess, because it sounds like you do apps and websites and different other tools and strategies. What exactly are you automating?
Yeah, good question. The apps, you can start from ground zero and develop every tool, every widget, every purchasing capability, every interaction with customer and all that kind of stuff. But what we found, there's about 40 to 48 features a lot of businesses typically use. And so, okay, let's create that ahead of time, okay? And then we can almost drag and drop and put things in the right place, change colors and themes and all that kind of stuff. And that allows us to, instead of turning a design or an idea that you had into an app that may take us 3 to 6 months of going back and forth and all that stuff, well, within the next 5 or 6 days, I'm going to give you a sample ready to go. And then our goal is within the first 2 weeks to have an app ready to go. Okay, so we greatly decrease that time from concept to launching it on Google Play Store as well as Apple. And then our background stuff, we'll keep it always up to date on those platforms because those platforms change all the time. Okay, and the same thing with the SEO part. If you're going to tie that with the SEO, SEO's changing all the time too. So we have that in the background going, updating it all the time.
That's cool. So 2 questions. First, if someone comes to you and they're missing some pieces, do you refer out, or do you also, a lot of people have their business idea, but then they don't have a logo, they don't have a color scheme, they don't have the things that make a difference in some of those things. So do you help with that as well?
Yes, we do. I like Mike's philosophy because he says, I'm French. I'm going to tell you like it is. and he says, I'm no BS. And he'll tell you if it looks like crap, he'll tell you it looks like crap. And so I think that's true, though, because we need to be honest and say, yeah, that was a nice design. I mean, from your perspective, but that's not going to sell. That's not going to catch people's eyes. And so we help you tweak that. Okay.
Good. And so I guess this is kind of a comment/question. I know a lot of people locally that right away started their business on Instagram, for instance. And then you have people like me that could care less about social media. Like, we're on it, but that's not really where we want to grow our business.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you can help people grow their business even if they're not on social media.
Yes. There's some synergies, obviously, with social media and advertising. Like, for instance, in Bern, the franchise focused all their marketing on Facebook. And then when it connected with Instagram, it did that too. So all my experience there was in demographics and audience building and campaigns and all that kind of stuff in Facebook. But it's beyond that. Maybe you're very local and you have a tangible, real way of communicating. Maybe your business is ripe for radio. Maybe your business is ripe for newspaper, some of the older-fashioned ways of doing it. So let's just sit down and talk about it. Let's figure out what works. Let's not just pigeonhole ourselves into one solution.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
I have the special question. So.
Oh, do you? I forgot what I was going to answer that with. Yeah.
What can we as a Colorado Springs business community do to help you?
I think when I said the takeaway today is community, I think that's the thing. Let's keep working together as a community. How can you help us? Well, I'd like to partner with a few of you in here to start doing small business strategic coaching seminars and workshops. And so, Matt, I'd like to talk. Matthew, there you are. Matthew, yeah, you took your coat off. You changed your clothes, dude. So our sponsors, I want to work with them. I've met a really wonderful lady over at Chase Bank, who's a small business a loan officer, right, or account officer, and with years of experience working with small business, with wealth of knowledge. Why can't we get some of the key people, and many of you are in here that's been doing small businesses or coaching or in some kind of way has nuggets of information. Let's organize some workshops to help. It's great to hear our stories, and I love that. But now let's take a next step and say, how can we actually get deeper? What is your mind thinking? What are you doing for maximum visibility? What are strategic ways? How are we all doing that in a different way? Let's learn from each other. And I think if we can team up that way, I think that would bring better all kinds of things. Yeah, enrichment to this community. If we can do some more in-depth seminars, I'm happy to lead it and sponsor it. I just need people to come alongside us to help us add that content to it. Okay, so I think that would be my ask. Okay, thank you, Samantha.
Yeah, thank you. We'll share this mic now because you get your very special mug. Again, we have hard costs, and the Kauffman Foundation has an amazing mug for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and I hope you'll come back every 12 months or so and give us an update and share with the good things.
Yeah, and I'm trying to come back at least a couple times a month as travel allows me.
Okay, good. And yeah, that's another thing I kind of mentioned in the beginning. You know, our crowd, you don't have to RSVP to get here. But every week we have brand new people that have never been here. And we have people, I call myself one of the freaks that's here every single week. And then some people that are here seasonally because they might be a teacher. So if your very first time coming to 1 Million Cups, can you raise your hand so we can greet you and know that you're first? Hello. See, every single week there's always a brand new person. So welcome. On average, we have 3 brand new people every week. So yeah. I'm going to get back to my list here so I don't forget anything. We are on social media. So, again, you can watch this on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, and things like that. Because it's not that I don't care about social media. It's just that I do prioritize the people in front of me. So when my phone rings, I get to it later. So again, if you have community announcement, go ahead and start making a line here. You usually spend about 20 seconds sharing that. So I'll start with my community announcement. As an event coordinator, I do have an event this weekend. It's called the Gingerbread Run, and it's a fundraiser and a festival. So you can come do some Christmas shopping and support local. And you can also, any age can do the run. So Jacob is over here, and he is facilitating the run. So there's a course, and it's timed, and you earn points as you go. And then at the end, you catch the gingerbread man. You eat him because that's how the race ends. Yes. And then there are prizes. We have tons of sponsors, tons of amazing community supporters. Come get some Perry's Pizza. Paul wasn't able to be there this time because the city doesn't have the equipment that he needs, but Perry's Pizza jumped in, so maybe next year it'll be Paul's Perfect Pies. Did I say that? Pizza Paul's Perfect Pies. And then, okay, we'll have our one community announcement, and then I'll introduce our next presenter.
Okay. This is your PSA. November is Life Insurance Awareness Month. So and with it being the end of the year, it's time to think about it. And as business owners, find out how you can include different benefits, including long-term care, into both your personal and employee benefit packages.
Thank you. Yep, you can cheer, clap. Oh, where did Andy go? So this is a silly reference to Heroes, but Mrs. Dills is quite a tiny woman, and my daughter's quite short. She never thought she would outgrow anyone, and when she got taller than Mrs. Dills, she was thrilled. And actually, okay, so that's the other thing that your presentation made me think of. If anyone knows this information, come talk to me afterwards. There used to be an organization in town that would do a memorial service for businesses that retired or quit or failed or closed. It was a very cool thing because as an entrepreneur, you do need to mourn the loss of your business. And there's also a lesson in there for other entrepreneurs. Hey, if you're thinking about going down this route, there's value in knowing why other businesses didn't succeed or why they closed or what their oopsies were. And so to prevent that is great. Do you know what that is, Robert? Okay, so we're going to talk and we're going to try to support them as a 1 Million Cups community. Are they still doing that? I didn't think so. So if we can reactivate them and just show them that support, like you mentioned, Andy, when you have the support, it's a lot easier to do what you're already doing. Or if there's another organization that would be appropriate to take that over, then we'll support them doing it. Because as volunteers, we usually are already doing too much. So I know for me, I'm doing too much here, but I can certainly support and invite people to those types of things. And I certainly would be an attendee there because I do like to learn and I do like to, be able to point people in the right direction so that they can learn from those other things. And then, so our second presenter today, her name is Julie Ramirez, and she is the owner of Stompin Groundz. Oh, you have a thing to set up, huh? Okay, so I'm going to give her a second to plug in. Judy's going to help her. See, she's being the hero for the day here and also always. So she's she is the last one to say hello to everyone today because she is our space sponsor, the owner of the Next Us here. So she'll tell us. She always has something poetic to share because she is an artiste and a poet. Are you officially like a poet lady? I think you can't officially call yourself that. No? I don't know. Yeah, she's a writer. Yeah, right. All right, so they'll let us know when they are ready, and then that just gives me extra time to look at my things. There's some noise too, some music. I don't know what time it is. Oh yeah. Oh really? That's a new movie? I don't get out much. This is my first visual of this. Okay. Of course, with Ryan Reynolds, it's going to be hilarious.
It's now considered one of the better reimagined.
So free plug for them. We should ask for some sponsorship cash for something.
Man, Ryan Reynolds really does advertise everywhere, doesn't he?
Right?
Wow, he's
Yeah.
so good at
No, Shaquille O'Neal has more promos than anyone I know. I wrote them down one time because I was curious and I Googled it. And I think at one time, even last year, he was promoting 15 different products like Epsom and Office Max and like cereal. Right, right. He's lots of monies. He's a bad actor, yeah, that's funny. Closer, there we go. And you're ready, yes? Okay, let's give her a hand.
Thank you. So yeah, my name is Jules. I am the curator of Stompin Groundz, a coffee shop coming to the Southeast community. Hopefully in 2023, cross your fingers, y'all, because it's been a forever long process. So I grew up here in Colorado Springs, and I was definitely one of those people that had to leave Colorado Springs to actually appreciate it. So I was up in Denver attending MSU, getting my degree in history with the intention of becoming a high school history teacher. Only to find out, I actually didn't want to work in a school. So I was like, okay, well, what can I do that will still impact lives and still allow me to educate people? And so I was like, well, let me get involved in community. And so I came back to the Springs, and I'm from the Southeast side, and there was a lot going on at that time. And so I got plugged in at the perfect time. So I started working at Kono as the Southeast Community Coordinator, and I was running an advocate training where I got 50 residents of the Southeast community to complete this training. And basically it was a 10-week program where we're equipping the residents with skills, knowledge, and connections to better advocate for our community. And so I was really learning right alongside everybody during this time, because I didn't know all of the opportunities, all of the resources, all of the people here in Colorado Springs. And so I was like, wow, okay, there's a lot going on here, a lot of opportunity. And, that's when I really started to develop my entrepreneurial spirit. And, during that time, I didn't really know that that's what that was. I just realized I was seeing problems as opportunities. And so I was like, okay, one problem that I had noticed is, I'm having all these meetings about Southeast Colorado Springs and never in Southeast Colorado Springs, because there wasn't really a good place to meet. And so that's when I was like, somebody should open a coffee shop. That'd be really cool. Maybe me, but I don't know anything about that. So I just remember casually mentioning it to Ben Anderson of Solid Rock Community Development Corporation. And that's when he was like, well, that's funny you say that, because we actually have a coffee shop in our plans for this community hub that we just got all this grant funding for. So I was like, oh, awesome. Okay, so, what's the time frame looking like? And he's like, oh, this is like in the next year. And I was like, oh, I don't know anything about any of this. So that's when I enrolled into the Thrive Network's entrepreneurial program. And I spent, 9 months in that program really understanding what it took to be a business owner and an entrepreneur. And that's where I built out this whole concept of Stompin Groundz, and then yeah, the project started, gaining traction. We had a location, we had floor plans, and then we were projected to open in the summer of 2020. So, joke was on me. That didn't happen, but definitely thankful. I don't know if I could have handled that, but other people in this room here took that challenge on. Shout out Brandon Del Grosso. He had been a mentor to me for many years, and he was opening up his second location of Switchback Coffee Roasters over in the Hillside neighborhood. And so he invited me on to be a team member in that time. And wow, like I just had a super invaluable experience during that time because, I had worked in a coffee stand prior and I had bartended prior, but like really getting to know all of the aspects, and you see it with different eyes when you're thinking about opening your own business. So really invaluable experience. By the end of it though, I was kind of like, do I really want to do this? There's a lot that goes into running a coffee shop. Plus, by the end of 2020, there was just so much uncertainty in the world. So, but at this time, Solid Rock's project was kind of lagging. So I was like, well, I have time, so I'll just spend some time. When time comes, then I'll just figure it out when we get the green light. So I continued to do, entrepreneur things. I was basically just doing project-based work, so that allowed me to actually spend a lot more time in coffee shops. So I made it a point to spend a lot of time in pretty much every coffee shop in Colorado Springs. I think I've been to every one. I think there's been a few that have popped up since then, but yeah, so I just spent all that time really just being in the space, studying the space, and Solid Rock's project actually evolved to something greater than I could have imagined. And so over the summer, they bought a property, and it will be turning into a community investment trust. So now I have the opportunity to open up a shop that will be in a community-owned building. And so I was like, okay, yeah, this has got to happen. So since then, we have finally been getting floor plans and getting traction again. And so, yeah, that's what brings me here today. I'm just excited to share, like, the start of this business. And, I think Stompin Groundz is going to be something different than we've seen in the rest of the city because, I'm really trying to hone in on the culture and diversity of Southeast Colorado Springs and, create that space for people in our community to really come and thrive. And so, yeah, I think it's really exciting. And, I have some visuals on here that show you the space. So I can pause it here. So yeah, this is the floor plans and the visual of the property. So it's actually at Jetwing and Shelton, kind of near the newly developed Panorama Park. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, it's going to be really extravagant, as you can see, something that we don't have in the Southeast yet. So I think we're really going to set the bar as far as a community hub and the overall economic development going on the Southeast side. So yeah, that's what I got.
That is awesome. And since you're working a little bit more closely with the Southeast project, I think it would be great to invite a group in. Maybe that's a panel that we can have so they can really dive into the depth of that. But can you tell us what is considered the Southeast? Which zip codes are in that?
So with Rise Southeast, I'm on their board as well. It is 80910 and 80916. And then I'm also a part of the Transforming Safety efforts, and they had a group of leaders define the boundaries of Southeast. And so really it's kind of hillside neighborhood east and south from there. So it's kind of depends on who you're talking to.
Right. And that's me. I'm 80910, so I get that Southeast Express paper that comes in. So yeah, I tell everybody it's basically southeast of Memorial Park at the lake and down and across.
Yes.
So yeah, it's interesting that there is basically no coffee house where people gather.
Yeah, the next closest thing is Switchback and Hillside.
Right.
We do have a Starbucks. I don't know if you guys count that.
Not really.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we don't either.
So yeah, let's work on that together to get those Southeast people. There's a million hands raised. I'll count you out in a second.
Okay. Now, looking at the plans, other than a shower included in your bathroom setup, what else is going to set you apart as a meeting place? Because down in the Southeast, you're right, you don't have the coffee house, but you do have Pandora, and I've met with several people down there. It's always crowded. What's going to set you apart that wants to pull people into your location?
Yeah, so I think there's just a lot of work going on with nonprofits and just people in general in the Southeast. So I think I've already kind of established a good relationship with so many of those nonprofits, and a lot of those people are the ones that will be using that space, but also very connected within the entrepreneur community, specifically in the Southeast. And so I think those are also people that will come. But also I've just been working really intentionally to build the brand of Stompin Groundz. And over these last couple of years, I've been doing I always struggle to call it, I don't know what to call it anymore because it's evolved, but basically a media hub of information. And so I have this platform, Daily Dose 719, where we're just sharing stories of community. And we started off as a docuseries. And so really just building the brand of the people in this community trying to create impact. And so I think the people that will that have been viewers of Daily Dose will eventually be the customers of Stompin Groundz. And I think with the overall vibe, aesthetic, we're just going to be able to draw people just because it's something so unique for the Southeast side.
So I'm going to play off that vibe question. I know Switchback says a vibe. Every coffee shop kind of has their vibes. I've got my favorite couple ones. And what is the vibe of this?
Yeah.
That what would because again, I go to Jives, I go to Switchbacks. They each have their own little special nuance. What's going to be yours?
Yeah, so I think part of it is like the aesthetic, right? We're trying to create like a very vibrant, colorful aesthetic that makes people feel like, oh yeah, there's definitely culture in this community, right? But also between the type of events that we're throwing, whether that is like a Poetry 719 open mic or, a comedy open mic, or there have been a lot of events going on, Beats Eats Sneaks. So that draws, the very diverse community of Colorado Springs. And I think overall, like, we're trying to be very intentional about, how we train our employees and making sure that they bring a certain type of energy anytime somebody walks through that door, and ensuring that somebody that walks in feels like that sense of belonging. And also just I'm also calling the baristas vibe dealers. So, the intention for them is to be able to provide, that good energy as somebody comes into our building.
That's awesome. I'll bring the mic over to you in just a second. It looks like you have a conference room, if that's available. Is there a stage there? Looks like
yes.
Group seating, bar seating.
Yeah, so we have the stage. I see a lot of different things happening there. A lot of like our community forums can happen there, or like I was saying, the open mics and all of that. But also with everything that we're doing with Daily Dose, I was like, we need a podcasting room. So that's actually going to be for more podcasting. So yeah, really bringing in the storytelling and the community space all together. Yeah, part of my intention for that space is also to just, as a historian, I want to be able to, amplify the story of the Southeast. And so wanting to do that through maybe having artifacts or, murals on the walls of key people from our community and things like that.
Hey, Jules.
Hey.
So I know your heart for the Southeast Colorado Springs. I lived in the Southeast Colorado Springs, and I ran into that issue that you had where it was like you had to go outside of your community to build community. And I just wanted you to speak potentially more about how important it would be and impactful to create your own community within your own community through this coffee shop.
Yes. So yeah, I think Southeast, it's interesting. I've always experienced like two different Colorado Springs when I'm coming from Southeast and then experiencing the rest of Colorado Springs, because we're very much a tight-knit community that, speaks multiple languages and multiple colors and ethnicities. All of that is happening in the southeast side of town. And so, and we've always had to, leave Southeast for gathering spaces. We have a lot of dive bars and things like that, but there's not really that just central location that you can go and run into your neighbors. So I think just in creating this space, I'm hoping that people will come there and connect and grow and evolve alongside of all of the things that are happening in our community. We have a lot of housing development. We are, a lot of the commercial properties are hopefully getting some facelifts and, getting some of those vacant buildings filled in. But I just definitely wanted this to be that hub for, one, information so that people can know what's going on in our community, but then two, just so they can come and connect with the other people in our area.
And because you have this outside space, is what I'm assuming on the right-hand side, you mentioned that it's a part of like a complex, so I'm sure you have some outdoor space and that you're probably not the only community space within this strip. Do you know what else is in there?
Yeah, so at this time, I'm the first of the newer businesses, I guess. Currently, there is a daycare in this space, a church, and a salon. And so over time, the plan, and there's actually like 2 different churches. So over time, we'll be tailoring those businesses that come in after those leases are up. That will be, community driven input to decide what businesses will be going in there. So that's all part of this community hub concept. So yeah, everything you're seeing on the right-hand side is probably a couple years away. And so I will be in there before much of that is ready. But yeah, they have on this left hand of the top picture, those are kind of like incubators for restaurants. But yeah, they have a lot of ideas, possibly in a co-working space as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity for that space.
That's very cool. And you mentioned, like I said, we would love to have like the Southeast Project people come in, but you also mentioned this podcast that you have. So maybe we need to have you or a group back to talk just about that.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation here. So, when you said in the drawing there with the little restaurant pods, is that similar to like have you been to? Well, I was thinking Red Leg Brewing. They have Kawadi is another where you could just kind of rent out spaces for that. Is that what you were talking about for there?
Yeah, I think that's the intention for those spaces, to kind of allow maybe startup restaurants to have a smaller space to then grow into something bigger. Yeah, they actually have a lot going on in that corner. So they actually bought, it's I think 8 acres. And so this is the one existing building, and then they'll be building housing on that property and adding a whole other building. But yeah, it's a whole big project, so we don't know too much about that yet, but we do know about the coffee shop.
So the location poses a couple of thoughts as far as there's kind of this ongoing, if you will, gentrification of the area. What is the plan, since this is a community hub? You're going to have a lot of the community that might be a drag on the way it looks and the overall vibe. You know what I'm talking about, like the more transient nature of the people in the area at times. I'm fully for like everyone being able to be in any of these spaces, but it tends to be a concern when you're trying to also attract customers to be able to chill and hang out. Is there any intention on finding a way to accommodate that rather than making it like it's a community for the people who's got money? Because I assume that other businesses will come in and be kind of an outreach in there, so it might even be a location for less desirable population to be sitting around. Is there any kind of intention or plan for what to do about that? Where were you thinking of going with that?
So between I think a lot of the efforts of Solid Rock, so they do a lot of different outreach programs. So they have like a food pantry, and they have housing projects that they have recently started developing also in the southeast side. And so I think there will be a lot of intention about, you know, how we can ensure that this entire space serves the population in that area in a very intentional way. And so, you know, we've been having a lot of, I mean, not we, but having focus groups, having those types of things, I think will be very important in this process, especially because, like you're saying, this is something completely new than what our community has seen. But I think between, you know, the work that I've done and the trust that I've built in the community and the trust that Solid Rock has built, I think we'll be able to figure out that balance for everything. Yeah.
And that's definitely why I think we could spend a whole hour just talking about the Southeast Project, because there are a lot of misconceptions about those particular zip codes.
Yes.
And literally, when you think about it, it's because there's nowhere for us to come together.
To
There's
do
a
anything,
few.
really.
Right. And yeah, we have good models from what they're doing at the City Auditorium with the Community Cultural Collective. So really, someone should just get on the board for that if they want to know more about it. Is there anything specifically about what you have going on with Stompin Groundz and your piece in all of this that you'd like to share beyond what we've asked in a question?
I'm not sure.
I can let you think about it a second. If anything comes to mind, go ahead and pop that on. But also, it was making me think, really, this coffee shop, this group chose you. So you do seem to be very in tune with what you're doing, and you've kind of been pulled into this, but it's been you going that direction all this time too. So it was like a magnet for you.
I was like, this is something that I felt like it's one of those things. It's like, you know, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Like my story, everything kind of built up to this moment without me even realizing it. And then, like, you know, hindsight now, I'm like, oh, okay. Wow, look at all the dots that I connected here. So, yes.
So you're probably not a coffee roaster or a barista, but you know how to bring the people together and facilitate. You got some training through the other guy, Switchbacks. So,
yeah, so when I started working at Switchback, I didn't realize how much science goes into making a really good cup of coffee. So yeah, I definitely will be working with Switchback very closely to make sure we're brewing up the best coffee.
Right, and you can always outsource that. So as an entrepreneur, you don't have to be a barista to run a coffee shop or a roaster or anything like that, right?
Yeah, they say there's two type of people in coffee people and people, and I'm definitely the people. So.
That's awesome. Well, here's another special question.
What can we as a Colorado Springs business community do to help you?
So I'll keep it simple. Like, follow, share, subscribe. You know, we're doing a lot online as far as, you know, the storytelling with Daily Dose and all of that. And then also in 2023, we will be launching a crowdfunding campaign. So if you want to stay in the loop of that, that will be happening. And yeah, we also we'll be documenting the whole process, obviously, because we love video content, all of that. So yeah, if you want to stay in tune, you can scan the QR code or just find us Stompin Groundz 719 or Daily Dose 719. Thank you.
Perfect. Definitely leave that up. I'll just represent. If you live in those zip codes, raise your hand. Okay, 2 of us. Woo! So yeah, you've inspired me to get a little bit more involved. And here is your beautiful mug that you will use every day at your coffee place, right? We'll get you 2 or 3, you know, one for the wall or something. That would be awesome. We're playing the movie preview again. And actually, before I bring Judy up, while we had that lull when we were fixing all of this, I should have called up our media sponsor, who always just tries to hide in the corner, and self-promotion's not his thing, but we are here to make him self-promote because he's amazing. So Kevin Fetty, tell us what you're doing here. Oh, you got your own mic.
I'm going to use this one. So hey everyone, my name is Kevin Fetty. My company is Fetty Studios. I do, you know, video production, live event production. I do photography. I do drone photo video. So if you need help with any of that, definitely let me know. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Thank you. Well done. And as Judy makes her way up, she's going to share something inspiring with us, no pressure. But yes, this is Judy Pairing. She is the one in charge here at the Next Us.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, thanks everybody for coming out to support the entrepreneurs. That's what we're here to do. So last time I did a poem about being grateful. I was thinking for a minute I was going to just repeat and do the same one, but I changed my mind. I found, it's because I couldn't find it. Instead, I found a different one. And this one's actually real interesting because we're coming into the darkness of winter, and it can be, scary, dark, depressing. And so this one is kind of a shout out to kind of getting through that time, especially as entrepreneurs. You wake up in the darkest of dark, cold, sweat when you think you've hit rock. Sit up, blink, but it seems that you're not. Try to breathe, but the air just gets caught. Strain to fight, but your muscles are taut. Mean to scream, but your voice has been lost. Reach for earth, but you're sinking in rot, like the world has forgot. Plant a seed in the richness of your doubt. Pull the nutrients from your deteriorating. Be the heat and send your roots out deep. Face the sun and melt away the waiting. Spring is a time to sprout. Feed your soul and let your next thoughts blossom and shout. Rooted in pandemonium turned inside out. Become immune so you bloom through summer's drought. When autumn's here, time and time again we let go. We have to fall apart in the wind. Winter will come and we will seep again. It's up to us to use what we lose for gain. We are perennials. Let's go around the sun in a new way. Thank you all for being here.
Beautiful. Thank you guys for being here today. We have some time to use the space to mingle, put the chairs to the side. So yeah, thank you for being here. And I think tomorrow is December, right? So let's finish out the month strong, just like we just have, and then 1 month left in 2022. So thank you guys. We will be closed for 2 weeks in December, but then we'll be back January 4th. So thank you. Bye-bye.